Hey, welcome to the channel. I hope you're doing well. I am musically malnourished, and you're on my journey to go deep and wide in discovering new music and artists. We are in the 2025 album from Jon Bellion called Father Figure. This is track number 7, Italia Breeze. Let's give it a listen, maybe make a few comments along the way, and then we'll dive a little bit deeper into the lyrics on the other side.
What's an Italian pharaoh? Born from a stallion's marrow. Lawyer straight like a circle. Labels round like an arrow. I came from Geno's and Gambinis and Jerry Gallo's. Oh, you thought Jerry Gallo? My name is Jerry Callo. What's an Italian pharaoh? Well, I learned from Moses a kingdom can be brought to ashes, pestilence, famine, and cattle. Yeah, pride's a bitch and my firstborn's just a kid. So I'll pack up the pharaoh talk and keep my eyes on the Passover sparrow. There's nothing sadder than the father stuck.
This is the chillest I've ever heard him on an album or on a track.
And deadbeat is the model. Your culture got you reaching and keeping up with the trends got you aging like avocados. Jesus' peace won't bring you peace in times of sorrow, but you won't hear it cause your spirit side is very hollow. She choose Ozempic as the regimen to follow, cause Father Time moving weight, he pushing pills too hard to swallow. Miss me with all of that. I'm not the poor thing from the car. Okay,
so we're gonna have plenty to get into when we go through the lyrics. One thing that stuck out to me is he just begins. Like as soon as the track starts, he just starts. And again, this is the chillest that I've ever heard him. And he's had a few tracks where the rap portions have been pretty chill, but this is a whole nother level. I'd be curious in Jon Bellion fashion if something switches up inside of this or he increases intensity as he goes. But I don't know. He's had a different sound on this album so far, so he could just keep it and really let the musicality of the lyrics, or the lyricism, not the musicality, the lyricism speak for itself.
Marcus with the boarded back. Child of God, I am the Alpha and Omega's draft. Straight off the boat, my ancestors in my pen and pad. I hear them whisper like a... My grandmother said my chain is now your logo. Close your eyes and feel the... My grandfather said we made it from $1 in a rowboat. Close your eyes and feel the... And when I'm gone, I'll use this song to tell my great-great-great-great-great-great-grandkids to feel the... Sheesh. What's an Italian pharaoh? I miss my Uncle Mikey. Bill Bellion's pinky ring. A few drops of sauce on my white tee. They called us guineas for rocking pennies. I rock them nightly. Straight white and like myself. I see why some people don't like me. You in the Matrix, have a blast. Make sure that you write me. How fast they build you up to break you down. Make sure you time me. How fast Giuseppe's fade will last. Well, make sure you line me. Chianti sipping like Jamaicans. Just make sure you wine me. Kingpin players will put in rings and brags. Concrete layers will put in bricks and bags. Cold stone killers were showing up to mass. Thank God my father took up the Christian path. Universal was balking on the lifetime deal. Then Big John paid in full like how Mackay 5 feel. Some Gary Paytons tried to stop me from crossing over, but my career has been a Jason Williams highlight reel. Miss me with all of that. I'm not the poor thing from the carcass with the boarded back. Child of God, I am the Alpha and Omega's draft. Straight off the boat, my ancestors in my pen and pad. I hear them whisper like a... My grandmother said my chain is now your logo. Close your eyes and feel the... My grandfather said we made it from $1 in a rowboat. Close your eyes and feel the... And when I'm gone, I'll use this song to tell my great-great-great-great-great-great-grandkids to feel the... Thank my father as we smoking cigars, we blowing smoke into the...
All right, definitely an homage, as he said, to his heritage. Okay, my goodness. Listen, no matter how hard I try, because I think I'm not a rap head. Not that I don't like rap. I don't have a lot of, I'm musically malnourished, you guys. Okay. No matter how hard I try going through these lyrics, even using Genius, there are just the layers in his lyricism. I still miss stuff. So forgive me for that ahead of time. If you've got something to enlighten me, please leave it in the comments. But let's hop over here and go to work. First, let's go see what Jon had to say about this song. Italia is just a snapshot of my culture, plain and simple. There is a tone my uncles had explaining something, or telling a joke, or telling a story, this unwavering confidence that Italian men I looked up to and still do speak with. There's an ignorance and a scathing sincerity. I'm sort of addressing things that I fall victim to in the chase for relevancy, or at least what my phone tells me is relevant. It's almost like I'm sparring with myself and exploring cultural concepts while proudly wearing my heritage on my arm. I'm so proud to be a Long Island Italian. This culture raised me. In my younger years, I tried to separate myself from it, like being a regular guy from the island was something I had to disprove. Now I thank God every day that I'm inescapably a Goomba. I want my grandparents to smile down on this one. That's fun. All right, first and foremost, we need to define a Goomba. And I hope that Jon doesn't have me saying some derogatory statement that's going to get me in trouble. Let's see. Let's do this. Define that in reference to Italians. In I meant reference. The term Goomba comes from the Italian word compare, meaning godfather or close friend. In Italian-American slang, it's used in a few ways depending on tone and context. Friendly. Among Italian-Americans, Goomba can affectionately mean a close buddy, trusted friend, similar to bro or pal. For example, that's my Goomba Tony. Of course, they use the word Tony, the name. Stereotypical or derogatory outside of that community, or when used mockingly, it can take on a negative or stereotypical connotation, referring to a caricature of Italian-American men, especially mobster-like loud, macho types. In this sense, it can be considered offensive or ethnically insensitive. So, whether it's respectful or not depends entirely on who's saying it and how. Okay, so it can sound like a slur. Don't go throwing Goomba around, which is interesting because I wonder in Mario, Goombas, which the Mario brothers, are obviously Italian. And if you know anything about Mario, or even if you don't, these little guys, one of the main bad guys, not this one. This was an embarrassment. We try to forget about this in Mario history. Oh my gosh. These guys, though, Goombas, that's what they're called. That's interesting. I even wonder if, like, kind of the shape of the face, the big eyebrows, if that's supposed to be this, again, like stereotypical mob gangster type feel. Huh. I really think I made a connection there. Maybe not. Maybe it's just a coincidence, but I don't think so. Okay. Let's jump in. What's an Italian pharaoh? So obviously Pharaoh, king of Egypt, born from a stallion's marrow. Okay. Obviously, and I don't know if do stallions typically refer to something with Italians? I know a stallion in the sense of a horse. But what actually makes a stallion? It's not just a male horse, is it? A male horse that has not been castrated. Okay. I didn't know that. Gotcha. Okay. So obviously I know a stallion, when you refer to a stallion, you're talking about like somebody strong and masculine. And then obviously if we even talk about, which does make sense too, Rocky was the Italian stallion. kind of paints a new light on that. We're getting a little personal there about Rocky. Yo, Adrian. So born from a stallion's marrow, lawyer straight like a circle. Okay. Oh, it's funny. Labels round like an arrow. I was trying to figure that on my own. I mean, obviously I know the contradiction. Lawyer straight like a circle, labels round like an arrow. That's really cool how he did that, like flipped them. Contradiction here about different record. I thought that might be about record labels. Arrows are about direction to a target, so maybe he's talking about how people in the music industry are just spinning their wheels going nowhere. Labels round like an arrow. I came from Geno's and Gambini's and Jerry Gallo's. I guess maybe we'll stay over here most of the time. I'll just try to keep the lyrics above my head. This line seems like a reference to Italian mafia culture, ? With names similar to the Gambinos and Joe Gallo. It sets up the image of someone coming from that world of power and influence, but then in the next line, he basically says he's not who you think he is. Jerry Gallo's. I don't know. You tell me. Yes, a person. What about in reference to Italian culture? Ah, thank you. Mafia-related slang or media, Jerry Gallo versus Jerry Callo. Ooh. In pop culture, the name Jerry Gallo appears in the 1992 film My Cousin Vinny. Okay, I've never seen that movie, but I know clearly from the title, My Cousin Vinny, it has to do with, and Jerry Callo is in here too. Okay, so Joe Pesci's character, Vinny Gambini, accidentally mentions the name Jerry Gallo, a supposed mobster, while trying to sound impressive. Later, someone corrects him. Jerry Gallo's dead. You mean Jerry Callo. It's played for laughs because Vinny is an inexperienced lawyer pretending to have mob connections. Okay, Jerry Gallo is a fictional mobster stereotype used to parody the Italian-American mafia image that Hollywood popularized. So, I came from Geno's and Gambini's and Jerry Gallo's. Oh, you thought Jerry Gallo? My name is Jerry Callo. Okay, so like I'm the real deal. What's an Italian pharaoh? Well, I learned from Moses a kingdom can be brought to ashes, pestilence, famine, and cattle. Obviously referencing Moses, the book of Exodus, the plagues upon Egypt. Yeah, pride's a you know what, and my firstborn's just a kid. So I'll pack up the Pharaoh talk, keep my eyes on the Passover sparrow. I wonder if he's referencing here before we take a look, because in the book of Exodus, Moses almost gets killed because Pharaoh, when he sees the Jewish people, the Israelites growing in number, he becomes afraid. He's like, basically, if they keep going as they're going, they're going to overtake us. And so he goes to have their firstborns killed, and then obviously they're enslaved. And well, before they've been in slavery, but then when Moses is born, he has the firstborn sons killed. So I wonder if he's referencing that at all. In the Bible, the firstborn child was killed of every Egyptian who did not comply with freeing the Israelites. Now, at the same time, I was going to say that could be the connection to Passover as well, because the whole point of Passover was when Moses came in. So after the plagues of Egypt had happened and Pharaoh still will not let the people go, the final plague was the plague of the firstborn. So if the blood of a lamb was not across the doorpost of a home, an angel of death would pass over or would come through and take the life of the firstborn. And so the blood of the lamb was put over the doorposts, and if it was on that home, the angel would pass over that home, which obviously speaks to a lot of things with Jesus and the blood of the lamb, and how, we're rescued when the blood of the lamb is over our lives. It's a really beautiful thing. You can go look at it. Gotquestions.org. Great website if you have spiritual or biblical questions. So what he's saying here, I'll pack up the Pharaoh talk, keep my eyes on the Passover sparrow. There's nothing sadder than a father stuck inside a much, much younger man's bravado, okay? Young forever's the motto, then deadbeat is the model.
A few moments later.
All right, it's a little darker behind me. I may or may not have had to leave in the middle of that video to go to my middle son's first middle school basketball game. But we're back, okay? Let's get our mind back in here. I feel like there's something more here. I really don't feel like this fully gives us. I feel like Jon's got something deeper here. So when I think about it, there's nothing sadder than a father stuck inside a much, much younger man's bravado. So a man's bravado would be like his I think of it like his machismo, his what I'm thinking Stella got her groove back, that kind of thing, like his groove, his man, let's see what the actual definition of bravado is. Bold or confident manner intended to impress or intimidate others, often more about show than substance. Interesting. So it's sadder than a father stuck inside a much younger man's bravado. Oh, so I wonder if what he's saying here, because at first I was thinking like, if how a man can grow older but feel younger on the inside. So that's what I was thinking. It's kind of like still the lion on the inside of him, but it sounds like he's putting it in that like sense of never growing up. So not young's forever in a good way is the motto. Then deadbeat is the model. It almost sounds like if you can't grow up, if you stuck on childish things, then you end up being the deadbeat. So if your thing is like always stay young, because obviously like there's a positive aspect to that. You want to stay young at heart in many ways. You don't want to just grow old and bitter. But if you can't mature, then you are like the older guy the older guy that's like in the Letterman jacket at the high school parties type thing. So your culture got you reaching, and keeping up with the trends got you aging like avocados. So it really does. Okay. It reinforces that because you're really refusing to grow up. So you keep trying to keep up with these trends. You're aging like avocados, which if you listen to the earlier track, what was it? Vinny's Avocados or something like that. I gave an avocado story that goes with that pretty well. A Jesus peace won't bring you peace in times of sorrow. I wonder if he's talking about like a cross, like just wearing a cross. A Jesus peace won't bring you peace in times of sorrow, like just this outward form of it. But if you don't truly embody it in your heart, but you won't hear it because your spirit side is very hollow. Like you won't listen because the spiritual side of you is hollow. Again, still tying into this whole like refusing to grow up. You just this chasing trends. She choose Ozempic as the regiment to follow, 'cause Father Time move and wait. He pushing pills too hard to swallow. Whoa. Okay. Obviously, we know Ozempic has been very prominent in culture in the last few years as a weight loss method. And so with that, you're doing that because Father Time is moving weight. So obviously, because as you get older and things, it gets harder to keep up with the body or something like that. But he's pushing pills too hard to swallow. Obviously, pills can be used in the sense of like truth, like here, take this pill, listen to this medicine type thing. And if you're stuck in that place, again, this whole section of this song, this whole verse is about not maturing, staying hollow, being a deadbeat ultimately. And so as you're aging, like time is pushing these pills, this truth that's too hard for you to swallow because you're not listening to wisdom. Wisdom is calling out and you're not listening. That's what I draw from all that. Man, it's ridiculous, dude. Miss me with all of that, right? I'm not the poor thing from the caucus with the boarded back. I'm not the poor thing from the caucus with the boarded back. Okay, we've got a few things to look up here. I want to look up what Madone is. Madone, excuse me, comes from the Italian Madonna, which literally means my lady, a reverent title for the Virgin Mary in Catholic tradition, but in Italian-American slang, especially among New Yorkers, other East Coasting Italians, Madone has taken on a more expressive emotional meaning. Is just a shortened or dialect version, okay, literally invoking the Virgin Mary, an exclamation like calling on a saint. Oh my God, Holy Mother, wow, geez, okay. Madone, that's beautiful. Madone, what are you doing? Madone, that's terrible. Okay, so it's tying back again to his culture because that's what he's trying to do in this song. But it's an exclamation, like, my God. Cool. I'm not the poor thing from the caucus with the bordered back. I'm going to have to find out. There's no annotation on that. What could this mean from Jon Bellion's song? What was it? Italia Sky? Italia Breeze. Oh, it's a great lyric to unpack. Well, let's unpack it then. Likely got some pity. Okay, I get that. Caucus can mean a political group. Bellion often uses abstract metaphor imagery. It might allude to the mountain range between Europe. Oh, okay. It might allude to the Caucasus, the mountain region between Europe and Asia, origin of the word Caucasian. If so, it could be a poetic nod to Western identity. So from the caucus could mean from the establishment, that privileged circle, from that part of the world. The boarded back sounds like imagery for being closed off, rigid, or emotionally walled up. It might also suggest poverty or damage. It's in a boarded up house. So I'm not some pitiful, broken person shaped by that culture or system. I'm not the closed off, rigid type you might expect from that world. Okay. Poetic way of asserting individuality. Child of God. So yeah, I mean, if he's talking about expressing individuality, it flows into that next line. So I'm not that. I'm a child of God. I am the Alpha and Omega. When he was saying that at first, when he's like, I'm the Alpha and Omega, I was like, whoa, John, like, calm down. And then it's neat. He said, I'm the Alpha and Omega's draft, like the image of God, which is, well, we believe that all men are created equal in God's image. All men. So this is great. Straight off the boat, my ancestors hit my pen and pad. I hear them whisper like a Italia Breeze. I love how he kept bringing that back to Italia Breeze. My grandmother said, my chain is now your logo. I was looking at the album art. And if you look at it here, even in this picture down here, his gold chain in the bottom right, and he's got his logo minted out of it. You know, could have to do with that. But let's see. Bellion shared the updated logo for Beautiful Mind, his record label and copyright for music. The logo is a depiction of the goddess Fortuna. Fortuna is it Fortuna or Fortuna? I would say Fortuna. Roman goddess of chance and luck, which is where the word fortune is derived from. Bellion shared his grandmother's necklace, as well as the updated logos for Beautiful Mind in the forum. Oh, it actually, I wonder if that emblem is his grandmother's? It is. Lady Luck in Italian. Wow. Close your eyes and feel the Italia Breeze. So it's like where the inspiration's coming from his roots. When I'm gone, I'll use this song to tell my great grandkids to feel the Italia Breeze. So he's hoping that this song will continue to shed light on his upbringing, his culture, his roots. What's an Italian pharaoh? I miss my Uncle Mikey. Jon discussed this line in his interview with Zach Sang. Well, I better chill with the word pharaoh because I saw what happened to Moses. So there's like a whole thing where I'm saying the word pharaoh is not good, but then I'm contradicting myself in the second verse. My Uncle Mikey's a pharaoh, he's a king. But then I'm like, be careful how you call yourself. By suggesting that his Uncle Mikey is an Italian pharaoh, Jon is honoring his Uncle Mikey while simultaneously questioning the validity of that honor's foundation. In the first verse, Jon presented the Moses and Pharaoh's story, cautionary tale about pride and power. The term pharaoh becomes symbolic of status and the temptations of worldly success. So when Jon subverts this line of reasoning and elevates his Uncle Mikey to pharaoh status, he's wrestling with a contradiction, pride in his cultural lineage versus his Christian faith, valuing worldly success versus spiritual humility. That's interesting. This single line becomes a microcosm of the whole album's message. Jon trying to reconcile what he knows is right, faith, integrity being present, and what culture glorifies, materialism, promiscuity, and status. I miss my Uncle Mikey. Bill Bellion's pinky ring, few drops of sauce on my white tea. They called us guinea for rocking pennies. I rock 'em nightly. Now this does point back, and they'll probably say it in the annotations here. Well, because he mentioned this in a different track, but this seems like a pretty detailed explanation here. The term guineas is a derogatory term aimed at Italian Americans. We figured that out in whatever track it was, I think on Glory Sound Prep. The term originated in 1896 and derived from Guinea Negro, which meant black person of mixed ancestry, compared to whiter Americans. Italians were referred to as this slur due to their darker complexions. Pennies is a slang term for pinafore, which is a sleeveless garment worn as an apron. They are often confused with smocks due to their similar style. Bellion touched on this line in his interview with Grammys.com. There's something powerful about me being like, they called us guineas for rockin' pennies, I rock 'em nightly. They called me a guinea when I was a kid. I'm wearing a tee right now. Now I rock 'em to sleep because it's a return to my ancestors and my grandparents who raised me, got me to this level. I want to pay such a deep homage to that on a competitive rap level. Wow. Straight, white, and like myself, I see why some people don't like me. You in the Matrix, have a blast. Make sure that you write me. So obviously, if you know anything about the Matrix, it's not living in a real world. You're living in a simulation. But yet, obviously, Jon's trying to say like he's transcended those things, which has been a thing within his music for a long time, of not getting caught up in just living for the moment, you know, but seeking higher joys. How fast they build you up to break you down. Make sure you time me. How fast Giuseppe's fade will last. Well, make sure you line me. Is this like a barber? The line could be talking about how fashion trends fade. Giuseppe, luxury designer. It might be questioning how long, flashy, or famous thing really matter. But Giuseppe's fade, I don't know why. I mean, a fade is a lot of times with a haircut. I'm one big fade. It could be John realizing status fades, asking people around him to keep him grounded. It might also be a double meaning, mean Giuseppe means God-given in Italian. So it could also be about not letting blessings go to waste or slip away. See, I don't know. This is why I think that this has to do with something with the haircut, though, because line me, I mean, those are all things that are oriented with a haircut. You get a fade, you get a line, right? I don't know. Help me understand that in the comments. Chianti sipping like Jamaicans. Just make sure you wine me. Kingpin players, we're putting rings in brass. Concrete layers. So obviously this is speaking back to probably professions and things from his family or his ancestors coming over to America. Concrete layers, putting bricks in bags, cold stone killers, because he's speaking to mafia. We're showing up to mass. They still go to Catholic mass, even though they're mafia members. Thank God my father took up the Christian path. He's obviously giving thanks that he was raised in a better way. Universal was balking on the lifetime deal. Then Big John paid in full, like how Mecky Pie feel. I'm assuming Universal is maybe speaking to a previous record label. I know John's had issues in the past with like feeling like the music industries have really not served artists well, and that he was almost owing money when he was making music because of just the deals that they put together. Let's see. Let's throw this over here. Universal is bought Universal Music Group, Bellion's record label. Okay. Balking means hesitating or refusing to, which I know this isn't his record label anymore. They were hesitating to commit to a long-term contract. Big John Platt, CEO of Sony Music Publishing, one of the most powerful figures, literally means settled everything completely. It's also a direct reference to the 1992 hip-hop film Paid in Full. Wow. See, those are the things I miss. A wordplay. One of the main actors in Paid in Full. So Bellion's saying Big John paid in full, like how Mecky Pfeiffer sounds like Phil did in the movie. His label was dragging his feet. So let's do this in essence. Universal hesitated to lock me in, so Big John came through and handled business. He paid me in full, just like the movie character. It's Mekhi Phifer, isn't it? See, man, John, dude, his knowledge on this stuff goes so deep. Some Gary Paytons tried to stop me from crossing over, but my career has been a Jason Williams highlight reel. I'm assuming, knowing John at this point, they're definitely basketball references, maybe New York Knicks. Gary Payton was most notably a point guard for the Seattle Supersonics in the NBA. His nickname was the Glove because of his defensive prowess. Some Gary Paytons tried to stop me. Okay, gosh, dude, it's so good. So obviously, Gary Payton was a great defensive player. So some Gary Paytons tried to stop me from crossing over. But my career has been a Jason Williams. This line plays into Bellion's larger theme, embracing artistry. Jason Williams wasn't about chasing MVPs, but about playing his way. Bellion frames his career as being driven by creativity, authenticity, sometimes messy, but unforgettable. Now, let's see. It doesn't tell us who Jason Williams is, though. Jason Williams, NBA. Oh, dude, I've seen this guy play. I've seen clips of him. This guy was a beast. But he kind of falls in that core category of like underrated players, or at least, I mean, I think people that probably know basketball know him. But as far as just like kind of, you know, you really have a very small amount of people who get the real public attention. But he was, the clips I've seen of him, he's crazy, dude. His passes. So some people tried to block him out, but his career has been a Jason Williams highlight reel. Which is funny that I use the word underrated, because obviously Jon said stop calling him underrated. He doesn't want to be super famous. But that's kind of it. Like, he is a lesser known person, although people on the inside know absolutely how prolific he is. Okay, so this repeats. I thank my father as we smoking cigars, we blow and smoke into the Italia Breeze. Man, whew, I'm glad that's done. Not really, but dude, anytime Jon starts rapping, I'm like, all right, we are in for a video and we're going to have to dig and learn and educate. But I think we dug up some real good stuff there. Cool song. It is interesting. He kept it real mellow the whole time, but I think that was the point. He really wanted to let his lyricism shine, and he did. I hope this was educational for you as well. Thanks for joining me. Let me know in the comments if I missed anything or what stood out to you. That was awesome. Hope to see you in the next one, because we're eating good.